right. Let's go. How is everybody doing on this fine Tuesday? Tuesday, right? Yeah, because the first Olympic stream is tomorrow, and that's Wednesday. We are above freezing, which really is exciting, except for the fact that once it starts to get above freezing and the ice slowly starts to melt, while it's still ice there, now you are stepping on extremely slippery ice. Oh, the walk to the car this morning was treacherous. Treacherous. Yeah, you know what I'm saying. I can't speak. So, what we're gonna do today here, this stream might be a little bit shorter than normal. No hockey really much to talk about. But we're gonna go over I'm going to share the screen. Once we get enough people in, and we're going to go over show you guys how you can join up, what the bracket challenge that we're doing from Spark. If you guys have been coming through the intermissions, we've been doing some trivia. We're going to be adding to that here real soon. And so they've got they have to call it the international. Let's see. The International Hockey Tournament Challenge, because I guess if they called it the Olympic Hockey Tournament Challenge, there could be a possible problem with copyright. So that's why it's called the International Bracket Challenge. So, good morning, scientists. How we doing? Valinskas was named alternate captain of Team Latvia, and he'll also quarterback their top power play unit. Right? I mean, if he's good enough to quarterback ours, so it's going to be interesting to see now. We've got somebody to watch on Latvia. I think tomorrow is Slovakia and Finland. I think that's the game at 10:30. Hey, Kazuma, the Panthers win 2 cups, barely any coverage. Patriots lose a bowl, 24-hour coverage from how bad they were. Yeah, hockey's a niche sport. It is what it is, right? Hockey is 100% a niche sport. Nobody cares if I guess there's not even like, there's no intermission, no intermission entertainment complaints in the Stanley Cup final, right? Vilnius commented on the McAvoy hit. Everyone is just being so calm about what he said. I did not see that. I let you know what he said. Hey, Michael, David, real. Zuma says, why do many Americans believe the Super Bowl is bigger than the World Cup is mind-boggling? I guess they just go by what the media says and like viewership. Like, I'll be straight. Like, I don't know anything about soccer, and I don't get any content about it, right? So let's see. How many people watch the Super Bowl and World Cup? Like, what's the difference in viewership? Super Bowl drew, wow. So the Super Bowl drew 127 million viewers, primarily within the United States. In contrast, the 2022 World Cup final reached an estimated 1.5 billion viewers globally, with 3.57 billion turning into the tournament itself. But the final got 1.5 billion. That's wild. That is, see, now we're just not shown that here in the United States. I think it's just plain as that. Now, what about, let me see, and this Stanley Cup final. How many people watched the Stanley Cup final? Of course, it's a 7-game series. While the Stanley Cup Finals attracts about 2.5 to 4 million US viewers per game. So what's that? Let's see, 10 times 20, 30, 40, like 30, 40, 50, like, I mean, just 50 times the amount, basically, give or take, from even the Super Bowl. That's wild, man. That just shows you hockey's a niche sport. Hey, Colin Davis says, well, it's America 1 and soccer 2 for nations who aren't tough enough for real football. Davis says, Google says we're 2.5 under the cap. How can that be? Well, because Jones is on LTIR, I believe. Jones, no, but Barkov too. I think when you combine Jones and Barkov, it puts us under the cap. I believe that would be why. Kenneth says hockey is not in the big three in the USA. That is for sure. I see you, Ryan. Hockey is the best sport, but severely hampered by horrific PR management. I agree. Right. The World Cup is popular in countries with mass populations. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. I guess that's why Goodell is so desperate to try to get an international audience, right? I guess that would be the audience that they're trying to tap into. But in North America, the Super Bowl is bigger, right? I mean, I think Kazuma, I think it just comes down to the media. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty well tapped into sports anyway, and those numbers absolutely surprised me that it would be that high for the World Cup. Because, I mean, here's a question. Here, let me see this. What percentage of media coverage is given in the United States to NFL, NHL, and what is it? What's the FIFA? So let's see. So in the NFL holds a 43% share of viewership. The NHL, 17%. And soccer is typically, they don't have a percentage here. Holds a smaller, rapidly evolving. So they're saying they don't give the percentage. That's interesting. But they consider soccer viewership in the United States. Let's see. FIFA that's interesting. It says 5% of national ad spend. So 43% for football, 17% for hockey, 5% for soccer. However, 26% of U.S. consumers will watch the World Cup. So, yeah. So, I mean, I just think that's just where it lies, right? Champions League final to the Super Bowl. Okay, Kazuma. Scientist says we have a total of negative 10-3 on LTR pool, but Barkov, Gadjevich, Nosik, Jones, and Cooley. Right, that's how we're under. Yeah. Yeah, if everybody was healthy, we would have had to trade Rodriguez. Okay. Compare the Champions League final to the Super Bowl. Okay. Oh, come on now. Come on here. Oh, geez. Let me just go back. It won't let me do that. All right. With what is it called? The Champions League the Champions League final. Let's see. Champions League final consistently demands a higher global audience, 300 to 400 million compared to the Super Bowl, which usually draws 100 to 120 million. But of course, it's just geographic, right? So, like in the United States, the Super Bowl is probably bigger. Recent Super Bowl 49 was 127 million viewers in the US with a total global reach of 190 million. So that's about 60 to 70 million viewers outside the United States for the Super Bowl. So the audience for the Champions League says massive viewership across Asia, Europe, and the Americas, often exceeding 200 countries. Estimated audience of 145 to 400 million, occasionally fluctuating but consistently outperforming the Super Bowl on a worldwide scale. So again, it's just because you've got, let me see. Right. So the primary market for the Super Bowl is the United States, and it's more global for soccer. Jeez. Yeah, so they're showing like for the global champions, like 11.5 just from France and 8 million just from Italy. Come back to the chat. David says in the USA, in the USA, poor kids like me played basketball the most, but most we raised money for our football stuff, and I paid for my own baseball glove, but girls played soccer mostly. That's a good point with the financial part to it, right? That's a good point, David. Hey, Silva, watched the video in the future last night. Interested in to bring up the possible top 10 pick. Yeah, I mean, I didn't want to get too much into the draft picks. I was more focused on the cap situation and the play, the decisions that we would have to make. I think honestly, if I'm realistic about it, the odds of us getting the top 10 pick, I don't think they're going to tank. I think they may not make it, but I think they'll fight their guts out until they're mathematically eliminated. It's just the nature of the team. Whether or not we think they should quit or tank, I don't think they're going to change their mind. I says I think the Panthers will do just enough to not get a pick and finish with the 11th pick, and it goes to Chicago, right? Gago says, hey, Jaws, have you looked at Puckpedia's lineups for USA and Canada? If not, you should look at them side by side for comparison take. Also got the flag and hung it over the bed. Oh, good. All right, we'll look at that. We're gonna be showing the I just want to show you guys also the Olympic bracket challenge. It's for you guys to join. Yeah, guys, they've got crazy depth. Yeah. Scientists, no, I didn't. I didn't see the whole thing. I saw a video that was on it, but I didn't click it about the fight between the Hornets and the Pistons last night. I'll have to check that out. Daily Faceoff has practice line for every team besides Italy. Oh, Capo. So they got Lundell and Luosterainen even on the third line for Finland. Interesting. All right, let me see if who's got was it Puckpedia's got the lineups? Okay. Let me see. Let's see here. Puckpedia. All right. So, all right, let me get rid of all these ads here. Okay, so yeah, well let me share this and let's look at that. I kind of feel like I'm getting sick again. My throat, the nose. I feel like it's trying to hit me again. All right. Let me close this out. So here's the USA. Eichel with Kachuk and Kachuk. Matthews with Boldy and Gensel. Larkin with Thompson and Connor. And then Nelson with Hughes and Miller. Yeah, I mean, it's not a bad fourth line, obviously, but boy, no Jason Robertson. Okay, all right. And then Hughes with McAvoy, Slavin, Faber, Sanderson, Werenski. Yeah, it's interesting to look at the cap hits there, right? Yeah. And then scratch a press box, like that's how they put it. Trocheck, Hanovan, Keller, Lacombe. Everybody else is making bank, and Lacombe's got almost just minimum wage. Everybody else, 8 million, 9 million, 8 million. Trocheck is 5.5. Hanovan, Swayman, and then Lacombe at 925. Poor dude. So we have they have the goalies here. I mean, we know them anyway, but so yeah, that's not terrible. I mean, it's a good team. But my God, when we look at Canada, I mean, you go to the third line, Larkin with Connor and Thompson. Okay, they definitely went for a certain vibe. Then we go to Canada, and good God Almighty, McDavid with Wilson and Celebrini, who is also not even $1 million, right? Wilson's cheap at 6.5. So McDavid with Wilson and Celebrini. So that's Eichel versus McDavid. Okay. Then McKinnon with Suzuki and Marchand. And what's crazy is they got Marchand on the second line. And then Crosby with Marner and Stone are the third line. Horvat with Reinhart and Hagel is the fourth line. Like, this fourth line is going to absolutely eat against the United States fourth line. I mean, come on. The third line, Crosby, Marner, and Stone. Crosby, Marner, Stone versus Larkin with Thompson and Connor. The fourth line, though, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. Let me go back to Canada. I mean, they're just ridiculously stacked. Then Taves with McCarr, Morrissey, Parayko, Theodore, Sanheim. Good to see everybody's getting paid. Oh, there was the goalies, Thompson and Binnington. Okay, I must have missed that over here. And then in the press box, Bennett, well, you stay there. You stay there. Harley, Jarvis, Doughty, Kemper, and then Sorelli and Point. I just find it so interesting how the Tampa Bay guys all of a sudden they needed to be replaced, and they end up getting replaced by, you know, it was Bennett and Jarvis. So two guys that they could possibly face in the postseason suddenly have to play. I found that interesting. Silva says the rest of the competition is cooked. There's no beating this team, Canada. Real says we won't be facing Canada for a bit. Our group is Latvia, Germany, Denmark. Yeah. So it's Eichel, Kachuk versus Stutzel, Draisaitl, and Paterka. Okay. Yeah, that's what I was thinking, Craig, was that all of a sudden Tampa's guys were hurt and they got immediately replaced by guys that would benefit Tampa if they got more exhausted. Yeah, the Canada fourth line is an all-star line. It's ridiculous. Our goaltending is way better than, let's see. No, here we go. So yeah, Thompson, Bennington, and Kemper. So okay. And then of course, United States is Hellebuyck, Ottinger, and Swayman. So yeah, I mean, obviously this year Hellebuyck's not been right. He's not been great. 279, 900. It's not awful. So yeah, goalie could make a difference, but the forward groups, it's just going to be, McKinnon versus Matthews on the second line. Like, I kind of have a feeling McKinnon's going to take his lunch. Eichel, Kachuk matched up against McDavid, Wilson, and Celebrini. Now, Kachuk, Celebrini, Wilson, okay. But McDavid and Eichel, I have a feeling that, at the center position, you got Crosby at 3C. It's a rough go. It's a rough go. Anything can happen, though, right? Day faceoffs have Matthews, Boldy, and Gensel as the top line. So it says if this was actual best on best tournament, it'd be Russia versus Canada in the finals. Yeah, the Russian team would be. Yeah, there's no way around that. You know what I mean? Defense with USA. Yeah, it kind of hurts with Jones being out, right? So they have Matthews with Boldy and Gensel, and this is. Oh, where's USA? And this is Matthews. Yeah, Matthews with Boldy and Gensel. Yeah. Oh, but you're saying they have that as the first line? Oh, I see. Well, if it's Matthews versus McDavid, I still kind of feel like McDavid might have that edge. You know what I mean? The top two lines here are clearly interchangeable, right? You kind of knew Kachuk and Kachuk were going to play together. I get a kick out of Eichel playing with Matthew, since it was Matthew that blew up Eichel that made Kolasar blow up Kachuk. Like, I get a kick out of that. But when you get down to the fourth line and you're talking about Nelson with Hughes and Miller against against Horvat with Reinhardt and Hagel, like the forwards are going to eat. The forwards are going to eat on that fourth line. If you're Canada, you don't have to. You can run even. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to play this line 8 minutes. Everybody can get some decent ice time for sure. Silver about Adam Fox. Yeah, that's interesting too. Hey, Wingdinger. Tomorrow, Kyle and I are doing, I think it's 10 or 10:30 in the morning. I think it's Slovakia and Finland. So we're doing the first one tomorrow morning. Funfish says, yeah, when Crosby on the third line, you're pretty damn good, right? Yeah, you took our stars. Yeah, it's just wild. It is what it is, though. It's still now here. I'm going to stop sharing here. This would be a good point. Now, I pinned a link. Let me see if it's still here. I could paste it again. Yeah. So there, I pinned the link at the top of the chat, but I just posted it again. I want to show you guys. Now it starts tomorrow, right? So if you want to play in the bracket challenge, I'll make a post about this as well. The link that's in the chat, this is where it's going to bring you. Now, if you've already signed up for Spark because you've been doing the trivia with us, it's be a little bit easier. If you haven't signed up, you might end up on the sign-in page. But then once you've gotten there, this is where you're going to get to is the International Hockey Tournament. They couldn't use the word Olympic because of copyright. You guys know how that goes. And so when you're ready to play, and I'll show you, you're just going to click play now. There's instructions here on how to rank your groups. Okay. 5 points for the correct first place pick, 3 points, 2 points, etc., etc. 5 points bonus for a perfect group. And then how the Olympics has a little bit of a different ranking system. So you're going to rank your picks, okay? And then you're going to complete your bracket. And then you track your score, and there'll be a leaderboard and all of that. Now, real quick before I get back over, one thing that's going to happen is that when you do your original bracket, you're going to be creating your own 12-team bracket, right? So that's one way to play. And then another way to play is that when the actual 12 teams have gotten into that round, when we know what teams are going to be in the bracket, there will be a secondary game that you can play, that you can pick the winners of the bracket that actually ended up being. So there's 2 ways to do it. So not going to go through right now and pick everything because I don't want Kyle to know just yet. But when you click play now, you're going to predict your group standings. So if you think Canada's going to win the group, you leave it at first, right? You move Canada up, okay? So if you think whatever order you think the 3 groups are going to go, that's where you're going to go. And then you're going to come here and you're going to rank your teams. So the first place teams, this is how it gets a little bit weird how the Olympics are going to do it. So of the teams that finish first place in the group, now you're going to rank, okay, who was the first best, second best, third best, first place team, and then the best second place teams, the best third place teams, the best fourth place teams. And that's going to lead to how you get to your bracket. That's going to get to, how you pick it. So if you leave it here the way it is, and then you submit, and then now that's going to be your overall seedings. You can come back and edit that. Okay. And then when you get to the bracket, this is how you're going to pick. You pick everything for each group. You pick your winners, and it's going to bring you to the next bracket. So for here, we'll just make some picks to show you guys how to do it. Right? These aren't going to be my picks. I'm still going to edit everything. And then so that we're going to bring you to your picks here, and then you'll pick and you'll pick and you'll pick and you'll submit. And then there'll be a leaderboard, right? There's no brackets just yet. There'll be a leaderboard where you can come back and check and see where you're at. And this will bring you to like your group picks. And once they start playing, this will display your picks and how everything is doing for you. And you can keep track that way. And then so that's what you're going to do when you get there. So all you got to do if you want to play along, and we are going to have some prizes that way. I'm going to make a post about this afternoon. And then at that point, I'll let you guys know what the prizes are going to be for the winners. So the links are there. You want to sign up. Obviously, you want to get your picks in before the game tomorrow. And so I hope you guys join. I hope you guys have some fun with it. We're definitely going to have some prizes. Kyle and I are not eligible to win. Funfish says his first place is Kyle's coin collection. Yeah, I like that, Funfish. I got to take my percentage, though, okay? I get 20% for the mailing fee, and then I'll mail you the rest of his silver. Great, Wing Dinger. Good to see you. You don't think Italy has any NHL players? Do they have Italy's lineup here yet? Let's see. Doesn't look like it. No, Clara, the goalie. There's Italy's goalie. Who is that? Let's see. That's the only guy. Whoever this Larkin is 2009 round 5, pick 137. I'm not sure who that is. But this is Damian Clara. He's a rookie, 21. And so let's see what his stats are. There you go. There we go. Let's see if he's even played or if he's just an AHL guy. He has not played in the NHL yet. So you're right. He's still not an NHL player. That is correct. Italy should get pasta just by default. USA versus Canada today in women's hockey. Okay, that's good stuff. I might keep an eye on that. Italy has home ice advantage, right? Real says, yeah, so 10:40 tomorrow, Slovakia versus Finland. I got to create those streams and everything. I figured there were more Finns, more Panthers, so we'd do that first game there. Didier, saw your video on Cat's salary cap. Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of moving parts, and there's just, when you look at how many guys that it's like, man, we'd like to keep those guys. Like there's no way around it. Like at some point, there's going to be guys moving on that we would have preferred to have kept. Hey, JC, how you doing, bud? Actually says, I watched Damian Clara play in the Finnish league like a year and a half ago. He looks solid. Canada's captain in women's hockey is out today versus USA. Gotcha. Yeah, Trocheck should go to Team Italy and pick up Robertson. Yeah, no, Funfish. There is a what's called roster freeze. I think the 23rd of February, the roster freeze ends. Craig says Zito earns every penny. That's the truth. That is absolutely the truth. Especially in you know, the juxtaposition for the Panthers between the decisions that they have to make for this season and next season. It's you know, we've talked about it so much where the consequences of whatever actions we do this year have a pretty big effect on next year. And what I will say is that even though this looks like it might end up being a down year, Zito doing the work of getting Cole Schwint off waivers really could not saying there's going to be an exact another Forsling situation because he was a known quantity and we had drafted him originally, but just being able to pick up somebody that might solve our constant revolving door at 4C and get him off of waivers. If nothing else comes out of it this year, that's one good move. Scientist says, I'm calling it Lundell goal from Luosterainen on a 201 breakaway tomorrow. A Lundell Luosterainen breakaway, huh? Jeez. It could happen. Funfish says it's going to be hard versus Hillary Knight. No. What time is, let me see something. USA versus Canada. What time is that game? Oh, 2 o'clock. 2 o'clock. All right. Oh, real quick, I do plan on being live tonight on the men's channel. I think about 7 o'clock. So for those of you who like to hang out over there, I'll have a topic. I'll have a topic picked out, but we'll just shoot the shit as well. But yeah, I figure tonight we'll do something a little bit different over there. Davis says a sport that looks easy when in fact it's insanely difficult. Ski jumping. Yeah, it was kind of the same for water skiing, David. The first time I water skied and I held on to the bar and I'm like, okay, I've been doing this for 10 minutes, like I'm ready. And so I did okay. But yeah, water skiing kind of looks like you're just like chilling and then you don't realize like the amount of muscles and strength that it takes to keep yourself up and balanced. I mean, it's a tremendous amount of fun. Yeah, you got messed up learning to water ski, right? Yeah, it's a whole different thing when you're just hanging on to the bar versus those ropes, man. is the first time first time for everything, right? But the first time you go behind the boat, you're like, oh, okay, this is same thing happened to me because I grew up roller skating. And then I don't know, maybe about 15, 16 years old, I was like, hey, let's go ice skating. Like, roller skate, I can ice skate. It's different. It's different, man. Especially trying to learn how to turn backwards ice skating. Like, it's not, if you've never ice skated, falling on ice is different. It's it's an experience. Real says, I've stood up for about 10 seconds water skiing from a real boat, a few minutes on a slower one. Yeah. Yeah, I water skied when I was in Alaska, but where I learned how to water ski was I went to a sleepaway camp when I was a kid, I think for 2 or 3 seasons. It was called Camp Mountain Lake. So you can imagine it was the camp in the mountains and there was a lake. And it was, if you watched any of the 1980s sleepaway camp movies with the cabins and the mountains that's where I went. Like Jason Voorhees was coming out of the woods. No questions asked. It was in the North Carolina mountains. And so, yeah, that's where I learned how to water ski because you had all the activities and it wasn't really regimented. You had a few things that were, but mainly if the kids, what do you want to do today? You want to water ski? You want to go here? You want to go there? We just kind of hung out what we wanted. So I learned how to water ski when I was at a young age. But of course, growing up in Florida, I wasn't going water skiing in that water. I was not water skiing in that water. There's gators and snakes and sharks in all the parts. You know what I mean? It don't matter what body of water you're in. There might be a gator, there might be a shark. So I never really water skied again. But then when I got to Alaska, it was like, okay, it's only thing in here is maybe the Loch Ness Monster. You know what I mean? So So the first time I water skied in Alaska was during what they call breakup, which is when everything's been frozen and then it starts to break up. And so I water skied in a big lake, and it still had nice big, 2 or 3 foot chunks of ice in it. It was a lot of fun. Would you guys love a Mighty Ducks remake or continuing the story? That's interesting. I mean, they don't have movies like that anymore. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe like continuing the story, like if you could get back most of the original actors and now they're playing like in a beer league or something, that could maybe be fun. Gold Slayer says, I can't roller skate, but I can roller blade. It was pretty easy transition to ice skating. Yeah, see, now I quads, but put me on rollerblade. I was literally professional level as a quad skater, but put me on rollerblades and completely useless. Completely useless. Like it's a completely different sport. I hated those things. Hate with a passion. David said I spoke to quite a few people that really like the halftime show, and since I try not to be that mean old man, I say to each their own. I'm not into Bad Bunny. I don't know who the hell he is, but I also am not into country music. So Kyle and I, you guys, we watched. There was a AKC dog show championship replay or highlights or something like that. That's what we watched. We watched dogs. So if they had put on somebody that I knew, but I'm getting too old for there to be somebody I knew. You know what I mean? I stopped listening to music so long ago. So we just put on something we wanted to watch. But I'm not into country music. I not into it. So it was like exactly to each their own. Yeah, the last halftime show you liked was Prince. Pretty much, right? Yeah, they all got dad bods now. I appreciate that, Jerry. Appreciate that, bud. Michael says Mighty Ducks made as Letterkenny style show or movie would be hilarious. Yeah, like a remake where they're all in like, they got dad bods and they're some of the guys are married, some are divorced, like they're middle aged. How many years ago was that? They'd have to be maybe like in their 50s. When was the Mighty Ducks made? 92. So you're talking 34 years ago. So yeah, no, they'd be if you're bringing back the kids, maybe they were what, 8, 10, 12. So you're talking about like maybe in their 40s and 50s now. Yeah, the kids have kids. Yeah. They made a remake on Disney Plus, but they canceled the show. Hey, Bucks. We haven't heard anything on Tarasov in terms of the goaltending. We haven't heard anything. Yeah, MJ, Bruno Mars was nice. I mean, I think the whole Bad Bunny thing is, if you leave the politics out of it, like I didn't know who he was. I don't like everybody gets lumped in with everything. It's just like I don't listen to that music. You know what I mean? So like there's like no hate, but I'm not interested in watching it. It's just different now. It's just different. Like my dad, he didn't know Prince, right? He wasn't interested in Prince. But when he watched the show, I remember his comment. He was like, "Damn, I don't know any of these songs, but this guy is great on the guitar," because my dad was a guitar player. So he didn't really know much of the songs because he's an old hippie. But he got on with the guitar playing. I don't think when you put on somebody like Bad Bunny right now, I don't think the generational thing is quite the same. You're going to have more people that are my age and older that are like, oh, I don't know who this dude is. And so a lot of them went and watched the Turning Point thing. I'm not in the country. I might know a couple of Kid Rock songs, and that's about it. But the rest of the guys with the the 10-gallon hats and all that, it's not my. I don't know any more about that than I know about Bad Bunny. So we watched the dog show. Van Halen, Ozzy, a 30 ZZ Top are all gone. Yeah. Funfish says, same. I was confused. He's a massive artist with tons of hits, and I don't even see what he looks like. Tarasoff, all you saw was possibly a groin, Craig. Jeez. Yeah, popular music isn't for us. It's for teens and young adults. That's true, but I mean, there was different. Like I said, maybe I can, like my parents like some of the music I listened to growing up and dislike some. Like, Hall & Oates, Billy Joel, Elton John. Yeah, they were all about that. But then when I put on Quiet Riot, I can't believe you listen to that noise. You know what I mean? Quiet Riot, Rat. They were okay with Van Halen, but Quiet Riot, Rat, and Def Leppard, I had all the albums and to the tens. And my dad's like, they can't play the guitar, they can't sing. Because my dad was like a Jim Croce guy. Kenneth, yeah, we're all getting old, right? And Colin, yeah, in terms of the international thing, that's the thing. That's the thing. It's like they're only interested in expanding the fan base instead of actually servicing the one that they have. And that's what happens to anything corporate, really. The Hockey News is where you saw it, Craig. All right. Buck says people were mad it was not in English. I mean, yeah, it's two very, very. I mean, it's about as different as you can get, right? The Bad Bunny and the Turning Point thing. It's two different opposite sides of the spectrum as you could get. I'm not into either. You know what I mean? It's like so, and I suspect that there's a lot of people that are in that same boat. Funfish says most generations, once they hit a certain age and it's a bunch of 20-year-old pop music, most people pass on it. Yeah. I mean, for the most part, right? Now when I grew up listening to stuff in the 80s, and music for me stopped about 2000. Well, somewhere between 2004 and 2010 is when really, like anything after 2010, I don't even buy the albums of the artists that I like. Like the last Rob Thomas and Daryl Hall album, I didn't even buy those. So I don't even listen to the music that I like. I just stopped listening to music. In fact, I think Jack Johnson put out an album a little while ago that I didn't listen to. So it just is what it is. But I knew I wasn't going to want to listen to the Bad Bunny thing just because the style of music I don't care for it. You know what I mean? And I'm not one to watch. I don't care who it is with all the the million dancers and all of that. It's just not my shtick. I'd like to see a band if I'm going to listen to music. You know what I mean? And that's because of my age. But that said, I didn't watch Turning Point thing either because that's not my style. I would almost rather listen to the dance, Latin, merengue, whatever. I would almost rather listen to that than anything with that country twang, that fake, forced country twang, where everything I sing is sound the same. Like I that grates on me. The other stuff's just not my thing. But the fake country twang that grates on my last nerve. You know what I mean? So It is what it is, right? Like when I saw Bad Bunny, I was like, "Who's that?" But when I saw all the names at the turning point, it was like, "Yeah, no, that's not for me." So got lucky. There were some cute dogs. They get some weird haircuts. I've never really watched a dog show. I've seen highlights, but like they give those dogs some funky looking haircuts. Jaws is going to write his own song and sing it with the voice of the Bennett puppet, right? That might not be a bad idea, right? Funfish says it's sad we just can't enjoy music anymore. It's more of a fight. I tell you what, I had no idea. Well, so in the 80s, the only people that you really knew their politics was like Bono, right? I think he made it pretty obvious in terms of music. Like Bono, you knew his politics, Madonna somewhat. Um, but like most of the popular bands, musicians, like nobody knew in the 80s, nobody knew what Van Halen's politics were or I mean, for the most part, it just wasn't nobody cared, nobody talked about it, you know, and even on the awards shows, they never really made it about politics. It's just it's what brought everybody together. And now every stinking thing that you do, you gotta and it's funny because if I just made the comments that I didn't watch Bad Bunny, somebody might assume um you know, that I'm one particular political persuasion. And if I just said, I didn't watch the Turning Point thing, they might assume that I'm the other side of the political persuasion. When in fact, I didn't watch either one of them because I don't like either one of them. So what does that mean? I guess I'm independent, right? I get my own third party. Dave says, yeah, all the good old days, right? Scientist says politics seems to be front and center for all entertainment nowadays. Yeah, there's no doubt. I mean, I keep getting comments that I have to delete um in some of the recaps and whatnot. I keep getting comments from either side. It's like I don't want the politics in the comments, you know. Candace says Rick Astley wasn't even that popular back then. Yeah, right. He's more popular now, you know. Craig says, I'm pro dog. I've taken the stance. I hate cats. No, I do. In fact, now I got two. Now I got to buy more food. Damn it. So what I've been doing is I had the one that showed up the day after Ellie died. It's a stray feral cat that showed up the day after Ellie died. And then last year at some point, like a gray one showed up. And so now what's happening is the gray one shows up at night and eats all the food. And then in the morning, I come out here to make my coffee, and the original black and white cat is at the door. Ow, ow, looking at the ball. The bitch ate all my food. So I got to feed the one cat at night, and then I got to feed the other cat first thing in the morning. So I'm going to have to buy some cans of tuna or something. They're too spoiled. They don't want the cat food. They're used to getting all my leftovers outside, and now they turn their nose up at the cat food. Every once in a while, they'll eat a little bit of the dry food. But I had some old cans of tuna that I was never going to eat, so I gave those the last couple of days. But yeah, bring back Rick Astley, right? Michael Jackson was the best halftime show. For me, it was Prince, but it's pretty close. It's pretty close, you know. But gone are the days for the most part where excuse me. Grocer says, how many cats you have, Jaws? None. Right? So, and I know that there's been a third one out there at some point, but he doesn't show up around it. Now, the original one is getting really close to letting me touch it. Like it used to run all the way back down the stairs and hide in the bushes when I was feeding them. And now he kind of gets there. He might step back a little bit, but he lets me get within like 2 or 3 feet of him. He doesn't run. Real says, sorry about a football thing real quick that I hear the Chargers hired Adam Gase as a passing game coach. They're collecting former Dolphin coaches. Yeah, David, the thing about Ashley is he'll lift you up, but he'll never let you down. Oh, Katy Perry? Yeah. I don't have a plan just yet, Bucks. It's just going to be on the men's channel. There's a couple topics I want to putz around with. So it'd be about 7:00 tonight on the men's channel. Just, a couple topics, but mainly shoot the shit. I might have some videos lined up for us to watch like I did in the last one. So we'll see. I got to try to do my taxes this afternoon, so we'll see how much time I have beforehand. David says, let's just whip it out and run with it. JC says they should have a Marty McFly to perform Johnny Be Good at the Super Bowl. Jeez. Yeah, that would have been fun. Right? Yeah, former Finn coaches would be the reverse of the Thanos gauntlet. I mean, you got to wonder if McDaniel had a say in that, right? Like if he brought it up, said, hey, let's go get this guy. Adam Gase, he's still hanging around, right? That dude, I couldn't believe the Jets hired him immediately after leaving the Dolphins. Like, did you not just see? All right, David. Oh, yeah, today's your Friday. Today's Donna's Friday, too. Mike says, soccer is a much more affordable sport, especially in the third world countries. Just about every single person can play, where in America, most of the sports we play are too expensive for people. Yeah, that's a really good point. You just need a ball. You know what I mean? And I guess if you want to play, you need some cleats if you're really going to play. But the amount of, hell, you're talking 20 years ago, when I was heavy duty, like yard selling for stuff to sell on eBay, if I saw football equipment at a yard sale, it was always priced way out of my range. Like I had no idea that the prices on those things. And now, like the hockey sticks and the baseball bats, I mean, it's just absurd, the cost of things. Oh, in terms of the conspiracy with the Dolphins and the Super Bowl colors, yeah, I saw that on Facebook for a half a second. I don't know. How the hell are they going to make the Super Bowl? With what quarterback? We don't even have a quarterback right now. Funfish says it sucks other than Olympics and no NFL. We only got the NBA. That's rough. It's a little bit rough. But we got hockey starting back up tomorrow. So, all right, everybody, I got to roll. Appreciate you guys hanging out with me. Like I said, the link is in the pinned comment to join the Olympic Bracket Challenge. We'll post about it out a little bit later. Let you guys know what the prizes are going to be. Germany just made it 2-1 versus Italy with $1:27 left in regulation. Yeah, I think I might check out the USA versus Canada. That should be a little bit fun. I would assume some of the USA the USA and Canada men's players, I would assume, would be watching. That'd be interesting to see. So Patrick Laine is going to get traded. I think we've heard about that. I mean, he can't get traded now, right? But maybe after, which is interesting because Montreal's kind of competing this year. So he hasn't been moved yet, Bucks, because there's a roster freeze during the Olympics. We can't make any moves right now. So, all right, everybody, appreciate you all. And if I see you tonight on the men's channel, it should start about 7:00.